What's up everybody, it's Wyvern here, and in today's video we'll be looking at my wins and losses from my Go Stadium tournament and be doing some analysis from each of the matches. Now, this was actually my first ever Go Stadium tournament. I did not get into a lobby until the end of last season, just because I wasn't really able to figure it out and I wasn't really curious about it, but somebody at my last Mirror Cup was able to help me out with it. So in the off season, I leveled up friendship with all of these people. So it was really interesting to see how the remote tournaments played out, and I really enjoyed it. So huge shout out to Go Stadium for running that on a complete volunteer basis. That's spectacular, the work that you guys do. So thank you so much for hosting that and putting it together. But without further ado guys, let's dive right into the matches. Round 1, we got matched up against Jindu, and I was actually a little bit nervous of that double steel lineup, so we ended up going with the Medicham as the lead, and it paid out in our favor. I figured even if he doesn't lead with a steel type, the Medicham would still be good against the Poliwrath or the Gallade. So we see him switch into the Alolan Marowak there, so we're going to follow up and switch into our Bastiodon. Now this is one Bastiodon technically counts as a counter for Alolan Marowak, but it really comes down to IVs and shielding situations, but I know you can tank at least 3 or 4 Bone Clubs before you even have to worry about the Bastiodon going down, and you can just do some solid damage with the Smackdowns and maybe try and bait a shield or take out the Alolan Marowak with a Stone Edge. So that's kind of my main Alolan Marowak counter throughout the entire Sinister Cup was Bastiodon. He works pretty nicely in my opinion, and now we see here we are able to get to a Stone Edge before he's able to land one more Bone Club on us, so this will either knock out his Marowak or bait that first shield out of him. So we do get that shield there, and now we're able to do a bit more damage with Smackdown. I don't think I'm going to worry about shielding this one. Nope, we're going to pass up on that because I know we'll at least be able to get that Marowak into the red, if not knock it out. Bastiodon is just such a tanky Pokemon, so we see those Smackdowns just doing massive damage, and he is able to get one more Bone Club. A Bastiodon at this low health, there's not even any guarantee I'd be able to get to another charge move, so we're not going to worry about shielding there. We're just going to leave that Marowak for whatever comes in next to finish it off. So we're going to come in with our own Marowak, hit it super effective with those Hexes, and try and farm up a bit of energy. Hope that he's not able to get to a Bone Club, and he is not. So we're going to wait and see what comes in next. I'm anticipating that Steelix to come back out. Ends up being a Poliwrath instead, so we're going to overcharge energy just a little bit, and then we're going to go for the Shadow Ball. I think this was match 2 of the, or game 2 of the match, rather, and I think I baited him with a Bone Club in the first match, so there we go straight for the Shadow Ball. So kind of playing some mind games with him there. Now we're going to get a charge move coming through. I know I don't have to shield this one, just because it's either going to be a power-up Dynamic or Ice Punch, and it does end up being that Ice Punch, not doing very much to the Fire type of Alolan Marowak. And there, we're going to try and go for the Bone Club to knock out that Poliwrath, but he actually ends up subbing back in with the Steelix to tank the charge move. But Bone Club definitely still doing a decent chunk of damage to that Steelix. It's not ideal, but I believe it does a little bit more than Shadow Ball would, and it takes less energy. So that's why I went with that there. So we are able to get one more Bone Club in, and hoping that we're able to get one more. I think he's just going to try and farm us down. Unfortunately, not able to get to that one last Bone Club, but that's okay. We have Medicham and 2 shields left, so we're going to go straight for that power-up punch to try and knock him out. He does have 1 shield left, but now our counters are going to be powered up, and with 2 shields, I'm feeling pretty confident about this. So now we're going to get 1 attack coming in, not able to knock it out before he's able to spend his energy. I know we can tank a Crunch, but obviously with 2 shields this late in the game, I'm not risking it. We're just going to go ahead and shield there, because an Earthquake would have been pretty devastating. And now I know he just has that Poliwrath left, and he has no shields, so I was just going to go for the Psychic until I realized that his health was that low. We probably could have just fainted him with counters, but since I was tapping on the Psychic, it actually registers after his Ice Punch, so we do end up getting the Psychic in, and that is going to be able to knock out his Poliwrath. Missed a few of the icons there, but I was just happy to get the win, honestly. So I ended up going 2-1 against Jindu in a bunch of close matches. We got matched up against a username I cannot pronounce. I saw the 2 steel types on his roster. I know Empoleon and Steelix are both common leads when teams have them, so I did decide to go with the Medicham once again, and it paid off in my favor. So there we see the counters hitting that Empoleon, super effective. He comes in with the Claydol, which is one I have not practiced against a ton, so I don't really know what to expect. I know Marowak is probably my best counter for it. Drifblim would certainly have been the better pick on my team. I know this is going to be a ground type move, probably Earth Power, so I am going to have to shield here, but having Marowak instead of Drifblim, we kind of have to make the best of it on our team. So we're going to overcharge a bit here and then try and bait with a Bone Club. That's kind of a pretty common strategy that I use throughout the Sinister Cup, and it worked pretty well most of the time, but it can certainly be devastating when it doesn't work. So there, it does end up working for us, and we get that shield out of him, and now we're going to be going for a Shadow Ball, trying to con him into thinking we maybe only have enough energy for another Bone Club. So that's what we got there. And the Shadow Ball does end up going through. So that worked out greatly in our favor. The shield bait really paid off. Now we're going to see that Empoleon come back in, and we are able to get to a Bone Club before he's able to knock us out with those fast moves. So there we hit excellent on that. There should be a decent chunk to the Empoleon, and it does end up doing a good bit of damage. Then he's able to knock us out there. So we're both down a Pokemon and a shield, but we're going to come back in with the Medicham and just go straight for that power-up punch. Either force him to burn that shield to keep the Empoleon and the energy alive, maybe try and pop off a charge move, or just knock out that Empoleon. So we do get that last shield out of him, but he is going to sub once again into Haunter, so we are going to come back in with Bastiodon. It walls off Haunter phenomenally, and it's not really something we have to worry about, so I'm going to opt not to shield there. Haunter, just being such an offensive Pokemon, can still do some good damage to Bastiodon with Shadow Ball for sure, but it's not one that we have to shield. You see there, we are definitely able to tank it, and now we're just going to be trying to go for that Stone Edge, and this will take out the Haunter since he burned that last shield on the Empoleon, and with the Empoleon being so low and a powered up Medicham in the back, that is going to win the match for us. So once again, I was able to go 2-1 against, I honestly don't know how to pronounce your name, dude, I'm sorry, but I ended up going 2-1 against him. Good games, dude. So if you're noticing a trend, there are a lot of 2 Steel teams in this tournament. This time he has Steelix and Mawile going up against standard Pokemon, who managed to 5-0 his first cup. It was also a weighted cup, so this was a match I was pretty nervous about. We decided to lead with Medicham, and it works out in our favor, especially because he might not know we have Psychic on it, but he's going to switch into that Dusclops, so we're going to switch into our counter, which is Bastiodon. If you watched my Atlanta Cup recap, you'll know Bastiodon is a phenomenal counter for Dusclops, because he can pretty much just farm him down, and he can tank all of Dusclops' charge moves without having to burn any shields. I do typically try and get a Stone Edge in the middle, either to just deal a bit more chip damage to that Dusclops or to force a shield. Either way, it usually ends up working out. And then you're going to be able to take out the Dusclops with about 1/3 to 1/4 health left with almost enough energy for another charge move if you do end up burning that Stone Edge. So that's just what we're going to do here. Going to get all those little rocks falling. Going to get the excellent on it, and we'll see if he decides to shield or not. He does. That's okay. We can just keep hitting it with smackdowns, and we really don't have to worry about shielding any of his charge moves, because whether it's Shadow Punch or Fire Punch, it's just not going to be dealing that much damage to Bastiodon. Bastiodon, just a massive tank Pokemon. Not offensive at all, but frankly for us, Dusclops is also not very offensive. So he's going to switch out right when I'm going for the charge move, and that was a phenomenal play on his part. If he wasn't counting the smackdowns, then he timed that perfectly, but if he was, that was a very good play once again, because we ended up going for the Stone Edge there instead of the Flamethrower. But we are going to follow that switch with our Medicham. I brought it to try and take down the Mawile. I know Bite is going to be hitting us neutral, and once he powers it up, if he manages to land a power-up punch, that could be pretty devastating. Thankfully for us, we do have 2 power-up punches charged up, so we're going to be able to land both of those and power up our counters before this Mawile is really able to do anything at all. And there we see it's not even able to get a power-up punch off, so the Bite's definitely doing some decent damage, but our Medicham is still in phenomenal shape, and we still have both of our shields. So here we're going to overcharge a little bit and then try and go for a power-up punch. I was thinking it probably did a bit more damage than it actually does, and we would be able to finish it just with counters. Run into a little bit of lag there, but nothing much. And he does actually burn a shield on it, so I think he was expecting the Psychic from that. So the power-up punch ended up being an accidental shield bait. It worked out in our favor. We're going to shield here. I know we can tank one Shadow Punch, but I want to make sure that Medicham is alive and well to take care of the Poliwrath. And we were trying to go for another power-up punch there, but unfortunately not able to get to it before he's able to get to another Shadow Punch. So we were going to burn our last shield to keep this Medicham alive and well. And now I'm pretty sure I'm just able to down that, but we are going to farm up a bit of energy and land a power-up punch just to be safe. Make sure he's not getting another Shadow Punch off on us, but now we have a little bit more energy for that Poliwrath matchup in the back end. So we're going to wait for that one to come out there and then hope that we're able to get to a Psychic. We're going to pull up that switch screen and try and switch to tank the charge move, and it ends up working out for us, so we're just going to sack switch that Bastiodon. So we were able to charge up a bit of energy with the Medicham to try and get that Psychic, essentially used the Bastiodon as an extra shield, and now we're able to get to that Psychic. And with no shields left, that's going to take the match for us. So stand-up Pokemon, I did manage to win 3-0 against. He's the only person I swept in this tournament, but he is very good, and I look forward to playing him more in the future. Unfortunately, when I was trying to make space on my phone, I accidentally deleted the videos from my match against Who Knows Not, thinking they were practice videos, so I'm really sorry about that. That's not a mistake I'll make again, but they were also very close matches. I know I say that a lot, but the PvP scene is evolving. There's really no easy wins or easy losses. Every match that I've done so far this season has been close, and that's something I really enjoy, but he did manage to eke out a win against me. I can't remember if he swept me or if I only won one game, but regardless, he was my only loss of the tournament. He did manage to win, and as you'll see in the end, he did manage to 5-0 win the tournament, so huge congratulations on that, Who Knows Not. I look forward to playing you again in the future, and once again, I do apologize for losing that footage. Match of the tournament, we got matched up against Shadowblade. Looking at his team, I wasn't really expecting to see the Sandshrew or the Lucario, so I thought Bastiodon was going to be a safe lead. However, he did end up leading with the Sandshrew, so I thought this was kind of a Mimi troll move, but he explained to me after the match that Powder Snow charges energy pretty quickly, and then with Night Slash, he's able to kind of spam that a bit, and it's going to hit a lot of the Psychic and Ghost types pretty hard. So if I had led with anything other than Bastiodon or Medicham, it would have been a positive matchup for him, so that's a really interesting off-meta pick I hadn't seen utilized at all to that point, and it was kind of fun to see it work. I mean, you'll see there, it is able to get to those Night Slashes really quickly, and the Smackdowns are going to be hitting it neutral, so while Bastiodon is not the most offensive Pokemon, it's definitely kind of a quote-unquote tank match. Not exactly, but we are just going to farm this a bit. I know I don't need to waste a Flamethrower on it, and even with those Night Slashes coming pretty quick, I don't have to worry about burning a charge move, so we're just going to farm it down with Smackdowns, but that's definitely chipping away at Bastiodon's health. It is a versatile little creature. So I know this is going to be the last Night Slash we'll have coming, so we don't have to burn a shield here. But good job finding that pick, Shadowblade. I really like the Sandshrew. That was fun to see utilized. So now we're going to see what comes in, and he has the Poliwrath. So rather than switch out, give up switch priority, we're going to be going for a Stone Edge in hopes that we are able to get one more off before he's able to knock out the Bastiodon. So he's going to opt not to shield there, and we do have a ton of energy charged up from that Sandshrew, and we are going to be able to get to one more Stone Edge before he's able to get to a Dynamic or Power-Up Punch, whichever one he's running. So we are able to hit him there with one more Stone Edge, get him into the yellow. It looks like we had charge move priority in that match, so that's something that really worked out in our favor. And it does end up being that power-up punch that comes through, but that is going to knock out the Bastiodon. We are now going to come in with our Dusknoir, however, and this is a pretty big mistake that I made. I was expecting another tank in the back, so I was saving the Medicham, but I probably should have gone with the Medicham against the Poliwrath, because you'll see in just a second here why I say this was a mistake. There was another tank in the back, but it wasn't really what I was thinking. It was not the Bastiodon. So it ends up being Cresselia. I was thinking he probably had Bastiodon in the back, so we are able to get an Ominous Wind off, but I think he has a shield left that he is going to burn on this. Let's wait and see in a second here. So yeah, we get the Ominous Wind off, but he is going to shield that, and he still has one shield to go as well. So we're going to try and switch into the Medicham to try and conserve that Dusknoir a little bit, just for the back end, maybe try and burn some shields with the Medicham and land an Ominous Wind on him. So we're going to go for a power-up punch here, kind of an interesting strategy, but I know he's not going to be shielding that. But with 2 shields left, I know we're going to have to shield whatever comes. But now the key is our Psychics are now powered up. He's not going to be expecting anything from the Medicham, so he's not likely to burn a shield on it. So now, instead of going for power-up punch, we're going to be trying to get to Psychic before he's able to get to another future sight. This Confusion's definitely hitting us hard, but Medicham's still a pretty formidable Pokemon. So we're going to see how much damage the Psychic does now that it's powered up. And it does a decent chunk to Cresselia, maybe a fifth of its health or so. So now we are going to opt to shield here once again, because our Dusknoir is super low, so a shield is not going to be doing him any good. It'll probably just get knocked out with Confusions if it comes to it. But we're just going to be going for another power-up punch here. Try and power up our counters, even if he's able to get to another future sight. Hopefully we'll be able to knock him out with just powered up counters. I was expecting that shield there, which is why I went for the lesser energy move as well. and there we were just able to feint him with the counter. So we did end up going 2-1 against Shadowblade. So as you'll see here, Who Knows Not managed to go 5-0 and sweep the tournament, which is not easy. So huge congratulations to that. I managed to finish 4-1, which is much better than my 3-3 finish in Atlanta. So I'm really happy that this one was my weighted tournament. The tournament hasn't actually concluded yet at the time I filmed this. There's still 1 or 2 more matches to go, so the win-loss ratio of some other players might be affected a little bit from what you see here. So I'm really excited to see how this impacts my player rank. I should be leveled up to Rival at this point, so I'm happy about that. I think it's a good start to the season, a lot better than a 3-3 weighted tournament would have been. So once again, I'm happy about that, but I'm really just excited to have these remote tournaments to have more consistent PvP throughout the season, so that's something I'm really looking forward to. If you made it this far in the video, guys, you are the real MVP. Please consider liking and subscribing for more PvP content, and until next time, guys, I'm Wyvern.